What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we're going to be talking about none other than the EX-3 decks, all the new ones. We got 10 of them for you, and it's surprising. They should be able to do extremely well with the ban restrictions in place. So without further ado, let's dive in the video and talk about it. So first deck we're going to talk about is none other than the Hina Deck, aka Dragon Links. So this deck is all about having a bunch of on-plays that are actually now viable because of Hina's effect. Because of this, when one of your Digimon digivolves into a Digimon with Rock Dragon, Earth Dragon, Machine Dragon, or Sky Dragon in its traits, by suspending this tamer, activate one of that Digimon's on-play effects. So that creates a chain, which can really become crazy. And then if your opponent has a Digimon in play, gain a memory, which is super easy to get off, which is not even funny. So this just benefits you all around. Getting 4 Hinas out just punishes your opponent extremely. So things about this deck is that, first off, it uses the new Moogandramon. So on play, delete all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP. If no Digimon was deleted by this effect, your opponent cannot play Digimon with a DP 5000 or less until the end of your opponent's next turn. So that preventative skill locks them out of playing stuff and restricts a little bit more. The deck has a lot of restrictions and stuff like that that makes your opponent really regret playing against this. And when attacking, if you have a tamer in play, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So gets a free value swing in too with Moogandramon. So stuff like that is really nasty. And then we have Imperialdramon. So de-digivolve all your opponent's Digimon for an on-play. But with Hina, it's a when digivolving now. And then delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost 5 or less. If no Digimon was deleted by this effect, all your opponent's unsuspended Digimon cannot digivolve until the end of your opponent's next turn. These two boss Digimon prevent your opponent from playing 5000 DPs and digivolving. So that gets really crazy pretty quickly and really punishes your opponent. And then your opponent's turn, while you have a tamer in play, this Digimon gains blocker and reboot. So the theme of the deck is related to these two big dragons from the Digimon Link game that they had. So it's really awesome to see how Dragon Link really is going to play out. I think this deck is a really top contender to actually show up more into the format. And the reason for that is because of all the restrictions that Shoutmon just got put out. That pushes the deck down so far. Now you're competing with Examon and Bloomlord now, which you actually have a decent setup in this matchup because Imperialdramon can actually do some damage to that deck. So it's something to look forward to. And stuff like Dark Gaia Force is a really powerful card because if your opponent has a wide tamer board, you can actually blow that up too, or wide boards in general, especially against green decks. If they're not fully committed yet and you got rid of that, you digivolve, but then you can just blow it all up with Dark Gaia Force. Not a bad trade-off. And then you use like Duro Deck, so it has rush and everything. That on play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less for every Digievolution card with a trait containing Dragon, Soar, Ceratopsian that this Digimon has. Add 2000 DP to what you can choose, so it can get rid of some decent threats. And then it's Digicross 2 for 5 Digimon cards with different names and traits containing Dragon, Soar, or Ceratopsian. When you would play this card, you may place specific cards from your hand or battle area under it. And then each card placed reduce the play cost. So he can become a, what would it be? 3 cost to play for Rush. Not a bad trade-off there. And then just using other stuff to help momentums. We have deleting 3000 DP for inheritables. Then you have, searchers. And then while this Digimon has an on-play, it gains 1000 DP. This one gives extra security checks and it's a D-digivolve. And it gets to play a Hina for you. This one basically gains you memory when you delete a Digimon. There's a lot of value in this deck, and it has so much potential. And then Breath of the Gods just to help prevent against, DP reduction or returning to hand shenanigans. And it's just a really solid deck all in all. I think having this deck be here is really good. I can't wait to see what they have in store for it. Next deck is a Dbrigmon's complete deck. This is centered around his ideology of play, using him to put a bunch of very powerful, dragons or ceratopsians or, swords underneath. You're going to have a lot of momentum and value out of this. Stuff like this will allow it to build up a stack so that you can use Tidal Wave to be able to pull out 2 Digimon that are really powerful. Even just Megas on board gets you wide. And the thing is, because they have no sources, now your opponent can't really just like Death Exit and get off the board very easily. You'll just have a couple big Megas, and they'll be all different DP levels, so you can keep stuff on the board too. And that's really good. I mean, even using Heir of the Dragons trigger draw 2, and then if you have a Digimon Greymon or Dramon in its name, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4,000 DP. Really puts on some preventive measures. You definitely run the Gigimon with Gallantmon line here. These 2 cards just combo off +2 every time they swing. If they survive, they get more value out of it. Just really powerful stuff there. I mean, using Senzorimon to help dig for your cards really does help out when attacking. You got Agumon for extra 1,000 DP. Blocker Greymon, just so that your Dbrigade can actually block stuff. Moogandramon, so if they hit this in security, or you play it with Tidal Wave, you get some plus values out of it, because this deck really only struggles with draw value. So that's what you're trying to go for, is get as much value out of your draws. This card here, if this Digimon has a trait that contains Dragon, Soar, or Ceratopsian, draw a card for its when attacking skill. Metallic Dramon, we talked about this in the Dragon Links. It de-digivolves, and then all your opponent's unsuspended Digimon can't digivolve until the end of your opponent's next turn. Prevents them from going crazy. Azulamon, on play, draw 2, and on deletion if you don't have. It really is just on play, draw 2. There's nothing really crazy about this outside of if you're playing the Trials of the Four Greats deck. We talked about Moogandramon in the Dragon Links. Be able to blow up and then prevent them from actually doing anything with playing hard plays, which is good. Moogandramon, basically all your opponent's Digimon gain security -1 until the end of your opponent's turn. So basically that's all it's going to do, is give a blanket effect, which really helps. It's just basically a holy wave on a body, which is harder to remove. Then you have Omnimon Ultra S to de-digivolve and then pop 5,000 DP or less. This is really for, guess what matchup? Bloomlord. Be able to remove those threats off board. And then you do have Omnimon Merciful Mode, which, by the way, this thing can, for each Mega in its traits, if this thing has like 5 Megas underneath it, while counting himself, that's 6 Megas. This thing pops 6 dudes easy. So Merciful Mode just combos extremely well with it. Fireball to draw you cards or pop a little dude. Kyushiro, blah. He's just here to make sure that you can activate Tidal Wave, no issues. And Digimon Emperor is if you're able to delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon, you get the draw value, but also makes it so that if they're promoting level 3s, easier to forcefully pass turn on them. So not a bad deck, and I can't wait to see what Megas, Dbrigade can do in this format. Really excited. Next deck we're going to talk about is none other than the Gallantmon deck. It's been around, yes, I know. But it's got 2 new cards that really help it out. First off, you have Growlmon here. When digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3,000 DP or less. If no Digimon was deleted, trash the top 2 cards of both players' deck. So this has, what Gallantmon really needed was ways of making your opponent mill if they're not really losing out on destruction value. So now we can make some preventative plays, making them forced to do things that they didn't really want to, and help fuel your graveyard and theirs, while triggering your Gallantmon's free, basically security check removals with no issues. And then we have new War Growlmon, trash the top 3 cards of both players' deck. Then if you or your opponent trashes 5 or more cards, you may play a Gallantmon or Tocado. So if your opponent has 5 or more. So this really does help out because now you get to get your Tocado out or a Gallantmon to still build up more, which can really go ham with. So, and then basically plays it for free. We get like War Growlmon for making it so if we can remove a threat very easily, we can actually gain some value off of it, keeping our turn. You know, nothing too crazy out of there. And then you have like Gallantmon here that basically trashes for your opponent's security cards for every 10 cards in their trash. Free value. Gallantmon X Antibody being able to unsuspend himself if no Digimon was deleted, but it deletes one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP. Really does help out, actually. So, I mean, why not, right? We're not playing the X Antibody option. That's fine. We really don't care. But as long as we have a Gallantmon, when an opponent's Digimon is deleted, we get a free trash. Not a bad deal. Then we have EX-2's Gallantmon here. Just upping the DP count's never bad, especially if we see them going wide low board. Especially getting a Crimson Blaze that can blow up 8 cost or even close to a 10 cost in certain circumstances really does help out. Crimson mode is obviously a must for this deck. It just deletes all your opponent's Digimon with the highest DP, trash 1 card from the top of your opponent's security stack, increase the number of cards trashed by this effect by 1 for every 10 cards in your opponent's trash. Basically free removal, everything like that. And then what brings it together is the free blitz that Tocado brings in. And if you pop something, you gain a memory. Not a bad deal, but really comes in handy there. The rest is just Gallantmons that are going to help you search, draw, or Digivolve up. Gallantmon's here just to help basically come in for 1, be able to draw you a card and give 3000 DP to your boss Digimon. That really is going to help out. Outside of that, normal search stuff. And then a blue card just so that you can speed evolve faster, which is really nice because if you never know when you're going to need it. So, this is pretty good. And then in security, you may play 1 Tamer from your hand without paying its memory cost. Sets you up nicely there. Free value is always good. Next, we're going to talk about is the Crab Shack or Examon deck. Basically, we're going to take Kaiser Nail on steroids and put it on a boss Digimon. Examon is you may play 1 blue level 3 Digimon card or a Digimon card with Seedramon in its name or Aqua or Sea Animal in one of its traits from your Digievolution cards of one of your blue Digimon without paying its play cost. What's nice is opponent's turn, when your opponent plays a Digimon, you may activate this when Digivolving effect. So if you get a decent stack going, you can get like Metal Seedramon here who get bounced 2 level 4s right back to their hands, setting them back a bit. Or in some cases, sets up blockers with Ebedramon. So this card is one of your blue Digimon. Gates blocker until you end opponent's turn. Or maybe do you need draws? You grab a Core Dramon out of the stack you built. Depending on what you do, even with Evade, when this Digimon would be deleted by spending this Digimon, prevent the deletion. And this gives, if you have Dramon, you gain Evade. So I guess Dramon will get Evade. Just all the great shenanigans here. You know, you have Mega Seedramon. You may play 1 blue level 3 Digimon card from one of your blue Digimon Digievolution cards without paying its memory cost. This deck does spit out a lot, so you have to be careful of Death X. Outside of that, it's just a really solid deck. You know, you have even Plesiomon here. When Digivolving, may play 1 blue level 3 Digimon card or level 4 Digimon with Aquatic Sea Animal or Aqua Beast in one of its traits from one of your blue Digimon's Digievolution cards without paying its play cost. Then you may place 1 blue Digimon card from your hand under this Digimon as a bottom Digievolution card. So, not bad. It sets you up really good. And, like, you get to use Gomamon to draw you 2. Then you do have Bokomon, who's going to gain you a memory, extending your plays. Vidramon to be able to swing in twice. And also power up, you know, Ice Wall, Hammer Sparks, the whole 9 yards. The deck does a lot of playing on your opponent's turn, and it really is interesting if you have the right stack. And a lot of good curve. This deck actually has potential with Shoutmon actually being knocked down, because you can actually play more against Bloom Lord with this deck than you could against Shoutmon. So, just something to think about there. Then we do have the Examon deck. This is one of the secrets of the deck. The deck is ridiculous. It uses Evade, which is a new keyword that basically prevents itself being destroyed. So when Digivolving, you may place one green or blue Digimon with Dramon in its name from your hand at the bottom of the Digi-Evolution cards. Then, when DNA Digivolving, you may place one green or blue card with Dramon in its name from and 12,000 DP or less from your hand without paying its memory cost. So we get some value out of that. All turns when this Digimon is suspended, unsuspend it, and suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So, not a bad trade-off there. So it gives like a reboot, but in a way of, you know, when this Digimon is suspended, when you force the attack of preventions and stuff like that, you get a free, like, nah, you ain't attacking with that one kind of deal. You know, using cards like Breakerdramon, that's all turns when this Digimon becomes suspended, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. When one of your Digimon with Dramon or Extramon in its name is deleted, name deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, trash one card from the top of your opponent's security stack. If this is out and you use Extramon to redirect the attack to battle it or anything like that, it gets ridiculous pretty quickly. And then all turns when one of your Digimon with Dramon or Extramon in its name deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, trash one card from the top of your opponent's security stack. So this can happen twice if you have one in source and then one on the field. That's 2 like loss of security. This deck is ridiculous. Then you have Slayerdramon. All turns when this Digimon becomes suspended, unsuspend this Digimon. And then start of your opponent's main phase by suspending one of your Digimon with Dramon or Extramon in its name. Your opponent must attack with one of their Digimon, forcing their field to pretty much go into your Extramon and lose. And then start your opponent's turn by suspending one of your Digimon with Dramon or Extramon in its name. Your opponent must attack with one of their Digimon. So if they leave a body out and you couldn't get rid of it, now you can force the redirect here with Extramon being a 15k body. Then you have Groundramon, who can DNA Digivolve for substitution because he can be, if Extramon is in your hand, may treat this card as a level 6 Digimon for DNA Digi-Evolution. So if he's on board, instantly you don't need to be at a level, 6 for both to get in there. You can just have a Groundramon or, Coredramon's evolution, which is Wingdramon, on board. They both have the same kind of effect here, and they can, end of turn, you may DNA Digivolve one of your other Digimon with Dramon in its name in play into a Digimon card in your hand by paying its DNA Digi-Evolution cost. Not bad trade-off there. And then while this Digimon has Dramon or Extramon in its name, it gains blocker, so it gains some value there, and I cannot express how good that is. And then we do have Wingdramon here, who has Invade. Same similar effect, being able to DNA and do the level 6, but it gives Evade. So this just really helps out. You got like Coredramon here, who's a blocker. Another Coredramon that gives Draw 2. Coredramon here that gives Evade. It's just really interesting to see what they can do here. And, next deck we're going to talk about, though, is going to be Legends of the Greats. So Legends of the 4 Great Dragons is centered around this card here. So it's main phase draw a card, you place it into battle area. Not bad, but it's delay effect. Play one card with 4 Great Dragons as a trait from your hand without paying its memory cost. Digimon played with this effect cannot Digivolve to a level 7 and is deleted at the end of opponent's next turn. So why would we want to play this kind of deck? I mean, it's got Gallantmon, who is when Digivolving, return one card with 4 Great Dragons in its traits from your trash to your hand. When attacking, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6,000 DP for the turn. Then returning one Moogandramon, Azulamon, and Moogandramon from your trash to the bottom of your deck. Trash the top 2 cards of your opponent's security stack. Moogandramon is really powerful. Then you have Moogandramon. If it was played by the Trial of 4 Greats, security -2, but it's an on-play -1. On deletion, if you don't have Trial of the 4 Greats in battle area, you may place one Trial of the 4 Greats Dragons from your hand into the battle area. So basically, constantly cycling once you have one is really good. Duro Deck sets up you well. Moogandramon is delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon if this card was played by the effect of Trials of the 4 Greats, add 1 maximum level of that Digimon you can choose with this effect. So you get some decent removal here. On deletion, if you don't have Trials in play, you may place another from your hand. Well, sorry, not hand. Yeah, place one from your hand to battle area. Really useful. Azulamon on play, draw 2, but also if it was played by the effect, you gain 2 memory. Not a bad deal. On deletion, if you don't have Trial of the Four Greats, you may place one from your hand to the battle area, constantly cycling out new ones just to get them going. Really does help out. You have Angelwolmon, who is, when Digivolving, if you don't have one, place one from your hand. When you play a Digimon with 4 Great Dragons in its trace, or place Trial of the Four Greats in the battle area, one opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP for the turn. And then when you would play a Digimon with 4 Greats in its traits, or place a Trials in the battle area, it's basically its main effect twice. Then we have, Imperialdramon. While you have a Digimon with 4 Greats in its traits, or Trial of the Four Greats in play, gain blocker, both inheritable and main effect. If you don't have Trial of the Four Greats in play, you may place one from your hand. They're all about placing that option, and we have ways of recycling it. So this card is reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 yellow Digimon with Drawmon in its name, and 1 card with 4 Great Dragons in its traits among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. When you would play a Digimon with 4 Greats in its traits, this Digimon gains Rush. Bdramon is really the backbone of the deck because of the Rush, but also so is Gatomon. On play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 yellow Angel, Archangel, Fallen Angel, Vertel, Seraph, Authority, Throne, Cherubi, or other than 3 Great Angels in one of its traits, and 1 card with 4 Great Dragons traits among them to your hand. Return the rest to the bottom of the deck, and then gives Rush. Not bad. As long as you get a very solid stick stack, you're really good. Patamon is top 4 cards and searching. Same thing with Gatomon. Here's the ability. And then Agumon is all about, you may play a Digimon with 4 when you play a Digimon with 4 Greats in its trait, or place Trial of the 4 Great Dragons in the battle area, draw a card. So much value here, so much synergy. It's not even funny. So, very solid deck all around. I'm going to say we're going to have to see what else we got going. Next, we do have Bloom Hydra, which is supposed to be known as MVP deck. We just know that this Bloom Lord hasn't changed much. It literally just gained this boss Digimon here. When Digivolving, you may suspend 1 Digimon. When an opponent's Digimon is suspended, gain 1 memory for each other suspended Digimon with Plant, Vegetation, and Fairy in one of its traits you have in play. So if you have like 3 bodies out, minusing him, that means you get +2. Not bad, because when they're forced to suspend, it really gets annoying. It passes turn very easily. And then on the turn, if you have 2 or more suspended Digimon with Plant, Vegetation, or Fairy in one of its traits, return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to the bottom of their deck. Very useful, suspending and then getting threats off board. We have Bloom Lord here. That is basically security +1 and +2,000 DP for every 2 suspended Digimon you have. Plus piercing also, and he gains memory to reduce the cost. So when you have 2 or more cards suspended, when you gain 2 or more memory, you instantly gain this. But for every suspended Digimon you have that is Plant, Vegetation, and Fairy, gain a memory. So all in all, like even just having the new Pumumon, that is when an effect suspends this Digimon, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, sets you up to remove threats. So the deck is just crazy good anyway. Outside of that, it really gained Parasauromon. When you would play a green Digimon card, by suspending this Digimon, reduce its play cost by 1. Really making these, 3 costs cheaper or 4 costs cheaper. It's just really solid there. And then when an effect suspends your Digimon, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, giving another Pumu effect. All in all, just great stuff. And just using Palmon here to gain extra DP. And then you have Nidhogg here, who Digiverse 4, that basically sends back any rested suspended. This really helps out in the mirror. You really want to have a Nidhogg in the mirror. Outside of that, the deck is just synergy.deck. Nothing too crazy out of there. Next, we have Moogandramon or Chaosdramon. So, on play, when Digivolving, you may place up to 3 red and or black level 5 cards with Cyborg in its traits and different card numbers from your hand and or trash under this Digimon as a bottom Digi-Evolution card. Then de-Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon for each placed by this effect. When this card would be deleted or returned to your hand or deck by trashing 2 level 5 Digimon in its Digi-Evolution cards, prevent it from leaving play. So this helps basically being another way of protection, because Machinedramon gives DP reduction, doesn't happen with him, but when this card would be deleted by trashing level 5s, 2 level 5s from its Digi-Evolution cards to prevent the deletion from being deleted. Not a bad trade-off. All powerful stuff, and he gains 1 memory. He does not, but that's fine. He can Digivolve for 1 on top of Moogandramon. Stuff that you need to really worry about here is attacking the heavy mobile Digimon. This lets Blitz and Rush happen, which can lead to really big problem plays if you can get that going. Ultimate Connection, being able to trash 1 level 5 sideboard, gaining 2 memory, draw a card. Basically says just, it literally could have been a 0 cost, draw 1, and gain 1 memory, and it wouldn't change much. Heavy Infinity Cannon, Digivolve 3 of your opponent's Digimon, then by placing 1 card with sideboard and traits from your hand or trash under one of your level 6 machines. And its traits as a bottom Digi-Evolution card, delete 1 of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. Basically, being able to Digivolve a wide board really does help out, and as long as you have a machine level 6, you're instantly golden. It doesn't cost you a color red requirement, so it's not bad. But outside of that, the deck is still the norm. It uses a bunch of level 5s that'll give a bunch of good inheritables, block or reboot, stuff like that. That's just going to really apply pressure. The deck hasn't changed much except for the Chaosdramon support. Really, the deck just needed a Chaosdramon, and it gets more support in BT11 and BT12, so it gets ridiculous pretty quickly. Next, we are going to talk about D-Brigade. Everybody knows what the basic D-Brigade package is by now. But we also have Commandramon on deletion, revealing the top 3 cards of the deck. You may play 1 Commandramon among them without paying its memory costs. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. The newest Commandramon to the family is Decoy Commandramon, which basically now, if they're going to try to kill a Commandramon, a D-Brigade you need to have on board, at least this Commandramon can protect it. So, by effect at least. Then we have new Sealdramon that has jamming, but its inheritable is crazy. When you would play another Digimon with D-Brigade in straight, that Digimon gains Rush for the turn. Not a bad trade-off. And then you have like Tankdramon here that reveals when Digivolving the top 3 cards of your deck. You may play 1 Digimon card with a play cost 5 or less and 1 D-Brigade in traits among them without paying its play cost. Trash the remaining, sets you up. Especially, you get a free value out of Sealdramon that gives it Rush, get an extra attack in. And then when one of your Digimon with D-Brigade in traits attacks, reveal the top 2 cards of the deck, you may play 1 Commandramon without paying its play cost. So, basically, you get your little dudes spamming out pretty quickly. Then you have Darkdramon with Rush, return up to 5 Digimon cards with D-Brigade in its types from your trash to the top of your deck in any order. And then for each card return, you gain 2 memory. Swing in, really good. This can become a 3-cost played, and as long as they don't have a Modoki Beta out. Then you have Darkdramon. When one of your Digimon would Digivolve into this card by returning up to 5 cards with D-Brigade in traits from your trash to the top of the deck. For each card return, reduce the Digi-Evolution cost by 1. When you would play another Digimon with D-Brigade in traits, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost lower than or equal to the play Digi cost. Unsuspend this Digimon. So at least you get a free value. If you have like 10, you can get, and you go into this one, and then you go into this one, get a free 13 pop. Really good. Death X controls boards. Ultimate and Iron Fist are always good cards. We have Pride Memory Boosts for that delay. Also revealing the top card to spit one out. And the only last real new card is Mishimon. This card is when one of your other Digimon with D-Brigade trait is in play. This Digimon gains Reboot. So making it so that your little guys, or even moderately big guys, can actually still be not just killed off very easily. And then finally, let's talk about the big bad of the set that everybody's hyped about. And it did get restricted, so I am putting the restrictions in here. Calling from Darkness is at 1. My recommendation is pull in some Dracmons to cycle this in for a loop. At least you can get pieces back and keep cycling. So this is the new boss Digimon for the Imperialdramon purple-red deck. So when Digivolving to Digivolve 2 if you contain a Dragon Mode Piercing. So not bad. And when Digivolving by returning 1 Imperialdramon Dragon Mode from this Digi-Evolution card to the bottom of its owner's deck. If it does not activate security effects on cards it checks for the turn. So basically free value out of it and apply more pressure. On deletion, you may play 1 Wormmon and 1 Beedramon from your trash without paying its memory cost. What's really nasty is you can just loop this whole deck by using Calling from Darkness to pop your big guy as long as you have another Dragon Mode somewhere in your hand. You can climb back up. You get your Wormmons out. And then you would grab one of these pieces. So the thing about this is Wormmon has it on play. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 red or purple free in its trait or 1 with Imperialdramon in its name from among them to your hand. Trash 1 card following the same requirements. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck. So you get 1 to hand, 1 in trash, 1 at the bottom of your deck. And then you have Vmon, who is by trashing 1 card with Imperialdramon in its name or free in its traits. Draw 2. Not bad. Then we have like Shadramon. This can DNA Digivolve at the end of your turn. When Digivolving, activate one of the effects. One of your other Digimon may Digivolve into a red level 4 Digievolution card. 3 types from your trash for its Digievolution cost. You may DNA Digivolve this Digimon and one of your other Digimon and play into a Digimon card in your hand by DNA Digivolving. So what happens here is you get a Digivolve. Flamedramon and Shadramon have basically the same effects. And it's basically the mirrored card. You'll grab the opposite one so you can instantly DNA Digivolve into the next piece, which would be like Dino Beamon here, who, when Digivolving, when DNA Digivolving, you may play 1 Pyildramon from your trash without paying its memory cost. Same thing with Pyildramon, it's play the Dino Beamon. On deletion, you may play 1 Wormmon from your trash without paying its memory cost. Pyildramon does it for Beamon. And then, while this Digimon has Imperialdramon in its name, it also can attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon, giving some more value there. And then you have Pyildramon, who gives an extra security check. Like I mentioned, opposites on their reflection effects, just really useful there. And then Dragon Mode here, when Digivolve, you may DNA Digivolve. Your opponent chooses one of their Digimon, destroy all your opponent's Digimon other than the chosen Digimon. Then Blitz. So what's really nasty about this is basically, what is it? Yu-Gi-Oh's card, something match. I forget. It's the one that basically says you can only have 1 and 1 and then blow up everything else. Not a bad trade-off. It's a trap card. Then when attacking once per turn, this Digimon gets plus 2000 DP for the turn. Then this Digimon may Digivolve into 1 Imperialdramon Fighter Mode in your hand for its Digievolution cost. So basically, you get to cheat this in, and then just go off from there. And then, worst case, you just use Calling in Darkness, pop to reset the board, using Miss Memory Boost to extend your plays. What I notice is you want to mill as much as possible to fuel the graveyard as fast as you can. You want to get at least one of the combo pieces. You want a couple pieces in your hand, but you also want to have the full piece in the graveyard. You want to have a Dino B or a Pyildramon and opposite in your hand. That is just going to allow you to go off like this. And then Flamedramon and everything else is another option. But being able to, when your Digimon attacks, suspend this tamer, trash a card, this can help keep the milling going. And like Analog Youth to search pieces out. But all in all, deck's great. I think even with the restriction, you just swap in Dracmon to Dracmon Loop a bit. And you can get there as well. So guys, what did you think of the video? Let me know down in the comments, guys. Did you find it very interesting to see all the new EX decks? What deck are you going to be playing in the format? And hopefully, guys, you enjoyed this video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you next one. Peace!